Good evening, I'm Nina Sperano.
And I'm John Erickson.
The Wisconsin U.S. Senate race is not only in a dead heat this close to November 8th, it arguably has the most at stake with the balance of power in Congress on the line.
As voters weigh the issues, both candidates' reputations and credibility are under the microscope. Tonight, we go on the record in an exclusive interview with Senate candidate Lt Gov Mandela Barnes.
We set out to get to know the Democratic candidate beyond the political ads. Well, thank you. Again, so I know you're tight on time, so I want to just kind of get right down to it and just start with, tell me why you decided to run for U.S. Senate.
Well, I decided to run for the U.S. Senate because there are a lot of challenges that go unaddressed, a lot of people's voices that don't get heard because out-of-touch politicians like Ron Johnson don't truly represent us as a state.
Your opponent is saying in lots of advertisements out there that you are too radical for Wisconsin. Where would you put yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being progressive, 10 being moderate? Where do you see yourself?
Well, I'll tell you, it's really not even about that, right? Like, our campaign that we've built is one that encompasses the whole of not just the Democratic Party, but the whole of society. I have people to the left of me and to the right of me who are supporting me in this campaign, and that was the case even in the primary. It's about meeting people where they are. People have real challenges that can't be broken down to any specific faction of the party, and it's not about running to serve the party. It's not about running to serve any faction of a party. It's about to serve hardworking Wisconsinites who continue to be left behind.
Where would you put yourself on this scale?
I mean,
that 1 to 10 scale.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I truly do. But honestly, this is a fight for hardworking people, hardworking Wisconsinites. That's what it comes down to. And I couldn't put myself in that sort of box.
Lieutenant Governor Barnes recently came under fire for his past social media posts addressing controversial topics on Twitter. This is the first time he's specifically addressed his past Twitter comments on camera.
In regards to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel article that came out earlier this week that talked a lot about your past Twitter statements, but some of those tweets that were pulled out from that article painted you as far left, some a little bit more radical. For example, you saying AOC is my president. Of course, we're talking about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. There's one where there's a picture of you holding a T-shirt saying abolish ICE. You also criticized Steve Scalise from Louisiana for not changing his position on gun control after being shot in the hip after that congressional baseball game. You said taking one for the team. Those are viewed as more radical. What would you say in regards to that article?
Yeah, what I'll say is, in terms of tweets, right, like these conversations aren't going to be nuanced, and Twitter's not the place to have real balanced discussion. And a lot of things are sarcastic, whatever the case may be. But as I travel, nobody's asking about tweets. People are asking, how can my life get better, and why aren't politicians looking out for me? Why aren't politicians looking out for people like me? Why is it always the people at the top who get the most benefit? Why are families like mine continuing to be left behind? The idea that Ron Johnson went to the U.S. Senate, doubled his wealth, and is hell-bent on making everybody else's life worse. He orchestrated $215 million in tax deductions for 2 of his biggest donors while he voted to repeal the Affordable Care Act. That's what people's concerns are.
Do you stand by those tweets?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, the tweets, like I said, whether it was like, we'll even use the one about the president, right? That's very clearly a sarcastic
where you said
tweet.
The president was a Russian spy.
Well, when with the AOC, when I said that, it's like, that's clearly like a sarcasm. She mentioned chopping it up at a bodega. It felt personal, right? And even with this Russian spy, that was sarcasm. And that's just how these conversations, happen on Twitter, but they aren't always nuanced.
Just what happens on social media, people take very seriously.
I know. And when the thing, too, is like when there's no context, and I get it, I understand it. It's just, that's how that happens.
Some of those views, again, are taken as more liberal, extreme left. Your political ads paint you as a modern, everyday man. These are two different sides. Who is the real Mandela Barnes?
I wouldn't say that. Like, honestly, like I make a lot of jokes. I think of myself as a pretty funny, jovial guy. But the thing is, going to the grocery store, it's actually me. Like, I live a pretty regular life, right? Like, I'm just a person that's from Wisconsin, graduated from Milwaukee Public Schools, and I enjoy what this state has to offer at every quarter, right? That's who I am. And the tweets and stuff, like, that's just all things that sometimes are out of context, or just people intentionally want to mislead. Like, Ron Johnson's a person who wants to distract from his actual record.
Coming up tonight.
You've once said that you wanted to take money away from overbloated budgets in the police departments and put them towards community programming. And you're not concerned taking money away from the police departments would actually hurt crime?
Well, this isn't even about that.
We asked the Lieutenant Governor about some of the toughest issues facing this election, including crime, inflation, and student debt. Tonight on NBC 26 News at 10.